Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And in my last video, we saw how I made these logos, how I inserted this image, and how I drew over this logo instead of just inserting an image. Now in this video, we're going to continue by making our title block. So stay tuned, guys. Welcome back, guys. Now let us continue now with our title block. We already made our logo, which of course will cost us a lot of time, but as I said, this represents your brand, so make sure you take your time to draw your logo or to insert a good picture and edit it how you want it to be edited. So because this represents your image, so your brand, so your brand represents you, so make sure this looks as professional and as neat and as the best quality you can give it as possible. So now let us continue now with our title block. Now in this example here, this is how I made my title block. And I will show you how to make this. Of course, depending on what all you want to be shown in your title block, but this is more or less my example of a title block. So let me show you now how I made this title block. So first of all, I would like to do the outline of the title block. Now, selecting again our title block layer, I would like you to decide the size of your title block. And my title block is 175, that's in the X direction, then tab, and in the Y direction, the height, I would like it to be 49. So this is the size of my title block. Let's see, wait a minute. This was my logo. My logo is kind of big, but that is no problem. You can always resize your logo to the size you want it to be. So my title block will be 49 by 175. Now, the spacing I want for my logo will be, let's draw our next rectangle, will be 32, and the height will be also 49. Now let us continue. My spacing that I want to be for my other text, let's draw a line. And let's move this line up, move. And the spacing I want to be 4 millimeters. And let's just do one line for now. Here I will draw a next rectangle, and this rectangle will be 44 by 16. I will copy this rectangle. Next. Then I will draw a next rectangle. This one will be 38 by 16 also. And the last rectangle, that will be just, if you choose this corner, you can just bring it up to this corner, which is good enough. Now this line right here, I will just bring till the center, which is good enough. And I will copy this line up 4 millimeters, 8 millimeters. Now this is the outline of my title block. Now you can select this title block, and I would want all the inside lines except the outside line. If you click on or press shift and then select this, it will deselect it. I will do this again. This way you will select everything within the blue line. So if something is not in the blue line, it will not select it. If you select this way, it will select everything. Even if just a piece of the line is in the green line, it will select it anyways. So it really doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you just select everything. And now if you press shift on your keyboard and select as you can see, a minus sign will appear. That means you will deselect it. I want to deselect it. And here in my properties, I want the thickness of my line to be, let's say, not too thick. Let's say 15. Ensure that your line width is on so you can see what it looks like. And this one right here, let's just leave it as it is. Select everything and just select it and make it the layer 0. By layer, but the layer will be, sorry, 0. Why I need it to be on 0 is because I wanted to inherit everything within my whatever layer my block is set to, it will inherit it. So 0 will be just as good. And then whenever I make my block, it will inherit my everything within that block would inherit the layer I set this title block under. So now I've had my outline of my title block. So now to be able to make, let's just select 0 to make things easier. To be able to make my text, let's just go into right here, text. You can either choose a single line text or multi-text. In this example, I will choose a single line text. And here you can select anywhere, the height, rotation. And here we will want to select the date. Oh, type in date. Enter. Escape. See, I do not want it to be rotated. Let's just rotate it back. Oops, sorry. Rotate it back. Rotate. Doesn't matter how you rotate, just rotate it back this way. And the justification of this, justify this text, let's just justify it to middle left. As you can see, it's in the middle and it's on the left side. And the text height, I would like it to be, let's see, 1.8. Nice and neat. Now, this text, I would like it to be in the center of my 4 millimeters that we made this. So you select your text, you put it against the line, and I want it to be 2 millimeters down. And not also this, I would like to have also space between my text and my line, also 2 millimeters. So let's move this text 2 millimeters down. This is about good. This looks okay. Now let's select this text, copy, and let's copy it a couple times. So here, 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 wherever you want this text to be. So now, even though they all say dates, we will not leave it this way. Let's go back to our example here. We have our revision date, our format, our status. So your revision date, let's just use capital. Let's go back, revision date, format, and your status. Now here on the right side, you have your drafter's name or initials, the scale, and I have an offer number because we have a lot of projects. So every drawing refers to the offer number or the offer that the client got. So offer number is very important for me, but you can choose something else if you don't have any customers this way. You can choose, let's say, client number or sales number, whatever suits your type of drawing. So here we have the drafter. That just means the drafter that made the drawing. So meaning with this date, the one who drew it on this date. Then you also have your drafter that did your revision. So these two correspond with each other. Then you have your scale. And as I said, I have an offer number. Okay, now let's go into this part. Of course, you have a project number and your drawing description, or how you want to say it in, let's just call this description. So you have your project name. Then this text to the top, we will copy the date again. Copy and paste. Now we know this from the top is 2 millimeters, but since we want this text to be a little bit bigger, 2 millimeters is not enough. So let's just make it about 6. So 2 plus 4 equals 6. Now this text will have to be a little bit bigger. Let's make it, no, actually, let's just keep it that way. And then I will copy this text, copy paste, and bring this down. And let's bring this down 7 millimeters. And this will be my drawing, or let's just say description. Oh. No, sorry. Let's just call it the drawing. Drawing, because then you have multiple things you can do. This one is your project name. So project. So here you can see that our title block is taking form. Here you also have, what is it here? Your drawing number and your revision letter, so to say. So let's copy paste this one again, copy, and let's copy it from this corner and let's paste it. Now here we do not want it to be on the, or you can choose to leave it on the left side if it suits you. Let's just leave it on the left side. And this will be our drawing number. Let's copy paste this, copy paste, and let's paste this here. And this will be our revision letter. Let's just call it revision. Enter. Now this one is also set to the left, but I would like this one to be in the center. So let us go back to justify and let us choose middle, top, center. As you can see, now it's on the top. Or no, let's just choose not top center, but middle center. So it will be in the same line as this one. So here we can select the center and let's just bring it down. Escape. So now we have our outline. Let's just select our logo now. Copy paste our logo. And I want it to be in the center of this square and in the center of actually this one. Paste. Now you can see my logo is very big. What you can do is scale your logo by going into your properties, and let's just scale it by 0.8. Let's see if that works. No, let's just scale it down more, 6 maybe, 0.6. It's still kind of too big. Let's just do 0.5. Yep, this looks much better. So here we can see our logo fits quite nicely within this square. Yeah. So now we know that this part is 33. So from the top, I want it to be the half of 33, which is, let's see, 32 divided by 2 is 16. So 16 and a half down. So here is nicely centered within this part. And this part to the bottom, we have our first of all our slogan. So let's just copy paste this text here. Oh no, let's copy paste our revision because remember we justified it differently. Copy and paste. Now it's in the same line. That is what we want to keep. And here we can drag it down to be centered also within there. Now this text is your slogan. My slogan is drafting made easy. Oh. If you do not like the text style or the, how do you name it, the font style, you can always change it. Just go into your, if you double click it, let's just see, where are you? Where are you? I think you can just do this when it comes to your normal text, multi-text. Multi-text is more flexible. Let's just type address. It's quite big, but that is okay. Now you go into your height. This one I want to be height 1 because you have a lot of information behind your address. Sorry, I'm Dutch, so sometimes my spelling is kind of rusty. Drafting made easy. Now you can choose to just, let's say, copy paste this one right here. And you can choose to make this a multi-text instead of the single text. Why? Because it is much easier to manipulate instead of the single text. The height will be 1.8. Justify it to middle center. And we bring it down this way from the center. Or you can just click it there and bring it down here. And of course the middle is 2 millimeters down because that is 4. Now it's nice and centered. Now we try this again. Drafting made easy. As you can see, it will have multiple lines, but then if you select this right here, then you go into your text editor, and here we will choose also Calibri. I just like this text. Text you will leave at white. Why? Because then it will inherit the text. Just make sure that your line width is 0, 0. That is also for your text to the bottom, 0, 0. And actually all your text will have to be 0, 0, or else it will get really thick and you cannot even read what it says. So let's go into this one right here. This one right here, we want to make about this height, bring it down 2 millimeters as we did the others. Let's bring this out down a little more, 2 millimeters down. Oh, it's a lot. Let's say 1 then. Okay, so you have your address, you have your post address, So your post address, you would like also your telephone number, of course. I'll do it this way. It'll just be plus 1800 0000. Then you would like to put, of course, your email address. So E double dot, and then it will be easycat at gmail.com. And you will have your website, of course. Let's just say easycat.youtube.com. So as you can see, it looks nice and neat. Now we're going to the most important part, which is your attributes. And what are attributes? Attributes is actually text that you can change as you go. So you can have one block, and in each block, it would have different text. It will be the same block, but the attributes allow you to fill in information without having to make a new block each and every time, which is very important for your title block because you want to have one title block, and then the title block, you would just have to double click it, and then it will ask you to fill in the information that you want to display for the reader. Now, to make your attributes, let's type ATT, as you can see, attribute definition, and it will open your attribute definition pop-up or window. Now we do want to lock a position because you do not want to have to move the text around in your title block. The tag is just a tag for your text. So here we will have a tag, project. The prompt is what it will ask the customer or the person who is filling in your title block to fill in. So here we will just ask them to fill in our project name, question mark. And the default is what default text do you want to be filled in? We do not want any default to be filled in because you don't know what a project name is. So no default. Next, you have your justification again, and we want to align it to the left side. So it will be middle left. Then you have, actually, let's just do this to not middle left, but let's see what is handy. What is handy? No, I just want to be aligned. No, let's just keep it to middle left. Now the text style is text default. We already went through this in our text styles. If you didn't, you should check out my video text style part 1 or styles part 1. I will link the video up above. And the text height, let's make it 3.5. No rotation, not a notative. Let's just keep it this way. Let's see, multiple lines. Nope, we want to be one single line. And now we don't want it to verify a constant. Nope. Invisible, we don't want it to be invisible. We just want to keep it this way. So let's click OK and press enter. As you can see, it refers to the middle of your text. So here, what is handy? Let's see my example here. Here you can see my text and my project is aligned to the bottom. So maybe we can just do the same to align it to the bottom. The top, how can I do this the best way? So let's start here in this corner. This direction, we want to move the text 60 millimeters. And down, we already had this one at, oh, let's just do it this way. Okay, so this is my project attribute. Now, We want to copy this attribute and we want to copy it to this part right here. This is your drawing description. So let's say project name, and now we have a description. So we want to the person to fill in what the project, what type of drawing this is right here. Enter. So if we go here, we can see, if we double click, description, project, the tag will be drawing, and we don't have a default. As you see, the tag is actually the name that it is displayed right here. Now we will do the same also for your date. Copy. We will also bring it to the center, but it would be handy if it would be till here. So let's say 17, enter. And this attribute will be also the same height as this text, so 1.8. And I do not want to justify it to the middle, but to the, yeah, actually, yes, I do want to justify it to the middle. So if we select this one right here, hover over it, and then bring it across. Let's see how much millimeters away this one is. This one is 19. Let's just make it 20 for drawing sake. Let's copy paste this in each and every square or rectangle. Okay. Now this one is your date, and you want to prompt your drawing date or date made. Here we have our revision date. So here we have our tag will be revision date revised. Okay. And here we have our format. Paper format. Okay. Now for the paper format, I would like it to be a default. Just say A3. Most papers, most drawings you will draw are, well, in my case, are A3. So let's just say default A3. Here, the status. Status. And here we have a drawing status. And by default, most of the time you start with your draft. Let's just do it nice and small. Your draft drawing. Your drafter is drafter. Oh, why do I keep on putting in W? I want to prompt who drew the drawing, and by default my initials will be EasyCAD, but you can choose something else if you like. The revision will be revision drafter, so drafter revision, and who revise the drawing. And again, my default will be EasyCAD. I cannot tag contain spaces. Oh yeah, this cannot contain spaces. So I'll just do underscore. Now here we have our scale, drawing, scale, and default I will have one on, let's say 50. My offer number, customer info or number or whatever it is in your case. In my default, it will be this as a default. Now let us move to the second, the last part, actually not the second, but the last. And here we will copy paste this text. It will be kind of big. Let's just say 3.5 is, matter of fact, 3.5 is good enough. Let's just keep it to 3.5. But this one, we will want to center it. So here we can select the center of this line, which is right here. And the same we will do for our revision letter. Revision letter, or just let's just call it revision L for short. So we have revision letter, and in my case default will be A. And now here we have our drawing number. Of course the prompt will be drawing, similar drawing number, and default will be, let's say, planned of floor plan 001 as default. Now we press enter. So now we did all our attributes for our title block. This, of course, you will fill in your own information. And now we have everything filled in. Now this space right here, you can put additional information, like this is in Dutch, sorry, but this is just, let's say if you want it to be, let's say copy this right here. Let's copy it down 6. This will be height 2.5. Is it the same? Yeah, it's in the same line. 2.5, and this we will have, let's say, the floor. Which floor is it on? Is it on the first floor, the second floor? So let's just say floor or elevation. And default won't be anything. And let's copy paste this right here. Let's bring it down 5 millimeters and 10 millimeters. Let's say this one will be, yeah, could be an example, room number. Let's say if you're drawing a room, and it will prompt room number. And this one right here, let's see what I had in my example, the phase of your building. Fase, we say in Dutch. But in English, we write it this way. sort of phase of your building if necessary. The reason why we didn't put any description to the beginning is because this is just additional information, so you won't have to always fill it in. And you can also use these attributes to fill in other information that don't have to do anything with your floor or room number or phase. Let's say you just want the street name where the project is located, so you can fill it in here. It does not mean specifically that you have to fill in here the floor. That is why that's that is why I didn't make a description to the beginning. Or you can just prompt this additional information instead of floor. Let's say that you call this info 1, info 2, info 3, and then you put additional information. Then the person who's using the title block can decide what they fill in those three attributes. So now, since we have finished our everything, actually, let's select once more our text to make sure that everything is set to 0.01 width. As you can see, look what happens if you do, the thicker you do, look what happens. It just becomes very, very, very unhandy. And the thickness of these lines, let us choose these lines to be, let's say, thickness let's choose 0.25. And the outer line, let's choose the thickness by layer. So this is our title block finished. So now you can make your block. Select, type BL, enter. And this one we'll call title block. We will pick the right bottom corner. We will convert it into a block, yes, millimeters, and we will not scale, or we will not allow let's say, no, we will not allow exploding. Let's click OK. And now you can see that my default is by default already in my attributes filled in. My phase is in, my room number is in, my elevation is in, my revision is in, my drawing number, and etc. and etc. My drafter. As you can see, the prompt is just what it's asking the person to fill in. So date revised, a date made. Where is my drafter? Who revised the drawing and who drew the drawing from the beginning. And of course, the drawing scale, customer number, drawing number, revision letter, etc. and etc. Now we will agree to this. Let's click on OK. And as you can see, my default is already in my title block. Everything that was default is already in. So now let's say you want to change the information within this block. All you gotta do is double click it. The phrase, we don't have any phrase, we don't have a room number, and we don't have any elevation. So we will just leave those as 0. Now my drawing number is already filled in nicely. My revised date, we don't have a revised date. The date made would be the date of today, which is the 30th of September 2020. Yes, in metric or in Europe, we use the date of the month first and not the month number and then the date. So for my American viewers, that this does not be confusing. The project description will be, let's say, title, the making of the title block. Nice for this video. And the description, the project name is title block. Let's see what more information do we need. Who drew the drawing? Easy cut. The revision date is nobody. So let's just remove this. And that was it. Oh, and one more important thing is the order how your attributes prompt up in the dialog. So to change the order in which your attributes pop up, we have to type BATT man, sounds like Batman. And here you can change the order how your attributes pop up. So this is your block attribute manager. So here we can change the order. Let's see, I would like my project to be first to the top. And then my drawing. So let's description, move up. Then I want my room number, no, my floor, sorry. Then my room number, then my phase. Then I want my date, the date my drawing was made. Then the one who drew the drawing on that date. Then my revision date. Then the one who drew the revision. Then I would like to see my format. So we're going in this order, left to right, left to right, left to right. Format. Then we have scale. Then we have our status, offer number, drawing number, and then our revision letter. So I will apply this. Don't forget to apply and press OK. So now if you double click this right now, as you can see now, it's in the order I want it to be. So it is not in the standard or in the default order. AutoCAD ordered it for me, but it is in the order you want it to be. So now this block, of course, you can use within your layout, meaning here. So let's just go into my layout and let us insert this block that we just made. Go into insert, and then here you can see our title block, and we can insert it, and it will ask you again to fill it in because you have inserted a new block. Let's just leave it this way, and as you can see, it is working perfectly. You can select it, and let's just fill in something for the sake of it. Let's say project name A, and let's say you have two title blocks. Of course, nobody has two title blocks in one drawing, but you can just say, let's say this one is called B. So that is what I was explaining. That is why attributes is so important, because now even though I have the same block, as you can see, the block name is still title block. So it is the same block, but I can fill in whatever I want, and I don't have to explode my block. I don't have to change it. By the way, the last step is to make this block in the layer title block layer. And of course, this title block layer will be locked because you do not want to have to move this by mistake. So as you can see, it cannot be moved. But before we can lock it, we will have to make a template to make sure it's in the right spot with the right border, with the right information before you can do anything. And let's preview this for the sake of this tutorial. As you can see, it is kind of grayish. That's because maybe our page setup management is not set correctly. As you can see, our plot style is set to nothing. So let's just do monochrome for the example. And as you can see, it is nice and clear. It is not gray anymore. Here also, you can see that my lines is visible. I do not want my lines to be visible. But remember that the color of our of those lines, they were color 40. So let's say monochrome, and I would like to put color 40 to be printed by color. So not black, but by color. Then you can just choose use object color and save this. Of course, it will override your plot style name monochrome, but this was just a quick example, but you don't actually want to do this. But just for this example, I will show you that since I have selected that color, color 40, will be printed by its original color. So now if I preview here, you can see it's now gray. Why is it gray? Oh yeah, because it's monochrome, of course. Okay, let's just select a different style. This one is also selected to use object color. So let's preview again. And here you can see, why is it not turning the color I want it to be? Close this. Let's go inside my block. And let's go into my line, and it's set to 40. So it should print 40. Or I guess because my print, let's try this one more time. Page setup, modify, set to none. Let's just use by color for example. Let's just leave it that way. And let's click OK, close, and preview one more time. I sure it will be gray again. But guys, let's check that out in a different video. As you can see, my text is still kind of thick. That is because this layer is set to print by layer. But I just have to do with my plot styles that I have right now as an example. So let's go back into this one right here. Color 6, it is too thick. So let's just say, okay, color 6 is use just object width. Save. Preview one more time. And now it is nice and thin, like how I want it to be displayed. So you can play with this to decide the thickness you like, of course. The text, I would advise you just keep it this thickness, which is thickness 0, because you do not want it to be very thick, or else it will be you won't be able to read it. So that was it for now, guys. That was our title block tutorial. In my next tutorial, I think we will just go into making our template, which is the end from our basic tutorial series. And till next time, guys, bye for now.